we are calling this Rewiring Neurologically Back to Love. And every Thursday, I am committed to showing up and leading a compassion meditation that is focused on learning how to have self-compassion as the key that we now know, not just as my idea, but through recent research in relational neuroscience, is one of the most important elements for rewiring those neural pathways from showing up in fear or lack, actually living those patterned responses of fight, flight, and freeze, those limited human responses that we all have. We all created them when we were little. And as we get older, as we stretch more into our life force, more into our connection with the divine, more into that huge heart that we are, we do have an opportunity to rewire those patterns of flight, freeze, fight, freeze, flight, through into flow, through into love, through into our life force. So today we're going to be doing that through the lens of our inner critic. And the inner critic is known by many names. It can be known as self-doubt or the inner punisher, the protector. It definitely is created in all of our childhoods to protect us, to give us a sense of power, of control over our life, perhaps when we don't have any. But as we become adults, it is that protection, that playing small, either that fighting or that flighting, that freezing, that actually holds us back from showing up for what we want in life and really enjoying the life that we already have. So in service to this, I'm going to call in the light briefly and then dive into a rewiring. In these meditations, you will notice that there is a heart of this process. And I call that the 4-step rewiring process, or that 4-step feeling for healing. And pretty much it goes through the beautiful acronym of FEEL. F, feel your feelings. E, really embrace, accept, allow, make space and welcoming for your human, for your feelings. E, express that inner feeling, express whatever that is. It could be the inner critic, as it will be today, or it could be another form of our ego voice. And then through to L. And in this section, there are really perhaps millions of ways that we learn how to love ourselves, have compassion for ourselves. We learn how to tap into that inner guidebook that a mother doesn't get physically when she has a baby, right? Like there is no guide telling a mother how to unconditionally love and show up for her child. But ask any mother, right? She knows it is more of an experience, a life force that we're given rather than in the head knowing what to do. And that's also really what we're here to do with ourselves, learning to love ourselves unconditionally with just superhuman compassion. Alrighty, so I am going to close my eyes to do this. And I encourage us all in this moment to let go of our lives, however we would. And we can dive into this process most easily by just asking our beautiful muscles to relax. Just ask your muscles and your body systems, your energy field. Just ask every aspect of your consciousness to relax and to release whatever you might be holding on to in your muscles, in your mind, in your emotions. Just imagine that rather than being a closed fist, you are now expanding into a completely open one. Just release those fingers, release that clenched fist, and allow your consciousness to open and bloom like a flower. Relax, fall back into the letting go. Relax. And as we relax, we can't help but receive more of who we are, more of that source, more of the heart of each and every moment, which is love, which is the spirit, has many, many names. but we just receive this love, this light, and we do anchor a conscious, clear intention of the highest good for this meditation and for this time just now. We are here to ask for the greatest clearing of any karma that's for the highest good. We are asking to rewire any neural pathway that is able to be rerouted from one of smallness, stuckness, self-sabotage, through into our gifts, our greatness, through into just who we are innocently and naturally, as courageous, as loving, as free, as abundant. We are asking for the highest good to rewire those neural pathways. And we are asking for the greatest experience possible. We are asking for the highest good. We are here to truly learn how to rewire our inner critic through to what we want, a cheerleader, support, just unconditional loving energy. No matter what we do, no matter if we nail it, we really show up beautifully, we want love, we want support. But hey, we're here to be human. We're here to make mistakes. We're here to fail and fall down. There is no getting around that if we're human. So we're here to create a voice inside that is equally loving and celebratory and supportive when we fall down. Because it's a huge win. It's a celebration when we fall down. We're showing up. We're taking risks. We're living our life. How do we learn how to love ourselves just as much when we fail as when we fly and succeed brilliantly? So we have set a clear intention. We have asked for the light and asked for the highest good. Now we are all very courageously given the opportunity to find a recent challenge in our world that has felt shitty. You may have experienced it very intimately as an inner critic, as finding fault, as being punishing and overly critical with you and how you're living your life. Sometimes, however, sometimes these patterns are more unconscious than conscious. So be aware that a challenging moment might be, after you complete something or just at the end of your day, like kind of you're actually aware of that almost an inner voice, that little devil sitting on your shoulder. However, you might also just be aware of after you complete something, all of a sudden your energy just drops, right? So that inner critic, that punisher, that part of us that has learned to almost kick ourselves when we're down does show up more unconsciously. It's more just an energy of, I just all of a sudden feel really bad about myself, right? I have no energy. I feel low. So just call forward whatever moment just pops into your mind right now as an experience of being challenged by self-doubt, inner criticism, disappointment. And so before getting all spiritual and healing and clearing, we're first just going to call forward that situation as clearly as we can. So do your best to see what was going on in your life, but just call forward that moment. All right, so once you have that moment and you have a level of detail as to what was going on in your life at this time, we're now going to leave our sane reality and we're really going to allow our inner critic to share without censorship. So here we're asking it to speak freely, and it's just going to be whatever monologue that it is. So my biggest encouragement in this way is to really allow the feeling to speak. Let go of what your head might say about it or think about it. But in those moments when you felt really disappointed or just whatever that feeling was, let that speak. right? It's almost like a bit of an improv opportunity. Don't think, just say whatever comes out. It doesn't matter. If you're writing this down, just let that pen flow. If you're speaking it, just speak. But we'll have a couple of minutes right now just to really, in that down, really challenging moment, give a voice to that inner critic, that part of you that was kind of like beating you up a little or a lot. And don't worry, we're not going to leave you there. There is a purpose and a power to this, but have the courage. It's in there anyway. It's having its way anyway. Let's bring it into the light. Let's learn more about it and truly learn how to release it. So for the next couple of minutes, just give that inner critic a voice. I like to write it down because I get lost in my head. You trust yourself might be powerful to just think it, speak it out loud, or write it down. The more, if it's written down or spoken out loud, it is more powerful in the clearing I experience. We'll have a couple of minutes of silence to do that right now. And we'll bring that to completion. If I were doing this on my own, and definitely as I suggest to clients, we do become aware of a stillness that just seems to take place once that voice has shared what it needs to share. So I don't ever give it a certain period of time when I'm doing this on my own. I do let it come to its own natural completion. I find that there just happens to be a stillness or a silence that comes in once that inner critic has shared whatever it needs to share. And so now we're really going to be diving into a metaphysical parallel universe. And the question that we're asking right now is, we're now kind of lifting above, where we're aware that we are that listens. We are the love. We are the spirit that's always with us, observing, holding, just with our human. But we're going to ask our inner critic this question: why do you care so much? Why is it that you're being so mean? Why is it that you're pushing me? Why is it that you want me to do better, do more, be more? And just through the essence of time, I am going to prime the pump in that The heart of every single one of our ego voices, our patterns of protection, is that they are all trying to help us be more lovable so that we'll be okay, so that we'll be safe, so that we'll survive, so that we will get that love that we need. The challenge is that all ego voices, all voices of negativity or doubt, are pushing us to find that love outside in the world, actually where it doesn't truly exist. All love comes from within, from the spirit. So be curious. Ask your inner critic, why are you what are you doing? Why do you care so much? And I am kind of asking this as a leading question because I do know, and I am encouraging us all to unpack this beautiful experience that every one of these voices is just pushing us to try and be more lovable, to do whatever it thinks we need to do in order to be loved, in order to be safe, in order to truly survive and be okay in this world. So just now, spend a little bit of time experiencing the heart of your inner critic. Can you find that love? Can you find that it's actually just trying to help you be okay, do more so that you'll be more lovable? And you might even be aware that this voice through this lens actually sounds like someone in your childhood, right? You knew that they loved you, but maybe that criticism or that push, that pressure, it was just hard to get the love through that lens. We are learning this magical gift of getting the love, even through that flawed ego voice. We're learning how to get the love that is at the heart of that and all ego communication. So just spend a little bit of time in that curiosity. Like, inner critic, why do you care so much? What is it that you're doing? See if you can really experience the love, the support, the protection that's at the heart of it. We'll have half a minute for that. Alrighty. And so moving on. I find that in that lens, often a lot is released and cleared for me. Often a moment has just happened right now. What I heard my inner critic saying is that, yeah, you've got to be good so that people will hang around and take care of you. And I can just have so much compassion for that, right? All of a sudden, there is a weight that's lifted. I get it. This voice really is trying to help me be a good little girl so that people will hang around and take care of me. I had a lot of abandonment in my childhood, so it makes sense that I'm trying to be so good so that people will stay to take care of me. And so now, however you do, we have an opportunity to respond to the inner critic in great loving and to really let it know that we get the love. We get the heart of why it's trying so hard to make us a good girl, do more, be better, show up, right? So we get to say thank you for that love. And we get to say, and I don't need you anymore. I don't need the push. I don't need the pressure. I know that I'm loved. I have the love that I need in me. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for pressuring me. And in this, we're actually also speaking to those beings in our life that represented that in our childhood, which can be incredibly clearing and healing. Uh, so we're just going to say, thank you so much for loving me. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for protecting me. And I got this. I know now that I am love. I'm lovable and worthy and okay no matter what I do, right? So we're going to have a minute to just really say, thank you for pushing me. Thank you for trying to always help me be better. And I'm so grateful that I release you. You're complete. I don't need you. I know that I'm lovable and worthwhile no matter what I do in this beautiful world. So you've got a minute just to pick up that inner critic and love it, thank it, and release it. Let it go. Let it know that it's not needed anymore. In this process, I often mock up uh, a kind of graduation, a celebration of this part of me has really worked hard to help me be good, help me achieve. But it's graduation day. Love, the Holy Spirit, my life force has it from here. I don't need this pattern of protection to be what drives me. I don't need fear to drive me. I've got love. I've got courage. I've got the Holy Spirit that's in the driver's seat of my life now. And so I like to imagine a graduation. And in some weird way, that inner critic can throw its little graduation cap up and truly let go. Our divine imagination is so powerful. It can sound cheesy, but use whatever imagination process can help you really release this beautiful energy. And so next, we're simply going to consider the transformation that these energies naturally take place. And we're helping with that conscious transformation. And so I like to just simply ask that energy inside, now that it's released the push and the pressure, right? We can't release the love. That part of us still loves us and still wants to help us. So let's give it a new job, right? If it's still a part of us, it's a beautiful part of our beautiful human expression. How would it like us to be loved and supported and guided? The image that often, not always, but often comes in for me is just a cheerleader. I want to love you and support you no matter what happens, right? Not with push, not with pressure, just with love, with sweetness, with softness, with unlimited celebration. So just be aware with your inner critic right now, who probably already is a soft ball of mush in some way that is very supportive. We could probably let go of the label on it as inner critic right now. But just be aware, does it have a new job? And so just know that that role has transformed. There's nothing that you need to keep track of or remember. It's not like you have to remember to be your own personal cheerleader. This is just a part of your loving that is going to support you in that way. And so finally, just complete with some gratitude. It's no small thing to show up for the very vulnerable process of giving our feelings a voice, really bringing some of our darker, more limited voices into the light for clearing and healing. That's courageous. So just thank yourself on all levels. Alrighty. So that's complete for today. As you can tell, my meditation really got to me today. Something big lifted. Is usually a bit of waterworks that comes with that. I just love you all. Thank you. And I'll be back for another compassion meditation next week.